Hello, fellow humans, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host SS, and today I have with me the Samsung Tab 3 Lite. Now, this was my very first piece of tech ever, and this is what got me interested in technology. But as the days went on, I started using it less and less because most of the things I used it for were replaced by my laptop. So, to see whether it still holds up, I tried using it as my primary device for a week, and this is how it went. Before we get into the video, let's take a look at the specs of this tablet. It was released in the year 2014, has a 1.2 GHz dual-core processor, 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of internal storage with support for microSD cards. It is currently running Android 4.2 Jelly Bean. Now, my problem started with the software. The tab was running Android Jelly Bean, which meant I almost had no up-to-date apps and I couldn't find some apps at all in the Play Store. So I had to improvise for the most part. Let us start with communication. Now, if you want to run Zoom on this, then tough luck because the Zoom app is not even present in the Play Store. But apart from meetings and video chatting, this tablet can handle the other stuff pretty well. The email client that I used was just the built-in Gmail app, although I did update it from the Play Store and it was running just fine. For chatting purposes, I used Google Hangouts as that was also built in and worked flawlessly, mostly due to it being an older app compared to the recent Google Chat app, which again I could not find in the Play Store. Now let us talk about web browsing. The tab does have Google Chrome built in and you can update it to the latest version available for Jelly Bean. But in my experience, I found Chrome to be pretty slow. Instead of Chrome, I used Firefox, which I downloaded from the Play Store, mainly because it is fast and also a newer version compared to Chrome. Now we come to multimedia consumption. For music, I was surprised to see that I could install Spotify Lite from the Play Store and it was really good. I downloaded the Lite version because it would be easier to run for the tab considering it has only 1 GB of RAM. Now for video, I did try to use the built-in YouTube app, but every time I open it, it gives me a prompt asking me to update to a newer version, as a newer version was available. But when I click to download the newer version, Play Store shows that the YouTube app is up to date. So I ended up just using YouTube through the Firefox browser and actually the experience was not that bad. Of course it ran a little bit slow and whenever I wanted to pause or play it would take a few seconds. But other than that, the playback was pretty okay. The inbuilt music app is also very good for listening to music stored locally, but I also did download another player called iPod Music Player, which I liked very much. It is an app that mimics the iPod Classic user interface and also has a digital click wheel. But for video, especially movies, I downloaded VLC Media Player from the Play Store rather than use the inbuilt video app simply because VLC has more features. Now coming to gaming, this can run most of the games on the Play Store. But it is kind of slow, almost to the point of unplayable. But I found out that this was very good as an emulation machine. I was able to run Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games without any problems. I also played a few DS games through Drastic, but it wasn't as perfect as the other emulators. Lastly, let us talk about productivity. The tab comes pre-installed with an office suite called Polaris Office, which was surprisingly good. I actually wrote the script for this video through it and it was good. The tab also has a decent calendar app that can sync with your online accounts and a note-taking app called T-Memo, which was also pretty good. Now, you might have noticed that I did not talk about the camera, and that's because it's nothing much. It's a 2 megapixel camera on the back and the picture quality is frankly not that good. And that wraps it up. The tab sure has its shortcomings, but it is still good at a few tasks like music and retro gaming. So am I going to keep using this as my primary device? Absolutely not. But I am going to be using this for retro gaming and I was even thinking of flashing a newer version of Android onto it. Leave a comment as to what I should do with it next, and also don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, live long and prosper.